Becoming an orthodontist is a very popular specialty right now.
Okay.
But also, there's a lot of challenges in becoming an orthodontist. For you, tell us real quickly, what was the hardest part about this process?
Just getting into residency, I think the hardest part is probably strategizing and exhibiting patience because at the end of the day, different people are coming into interview processes with, different components that make them strong applicants. And so if you want to be a strong applicant, you kind of have to hone in on your own strengths and be able to present that in a way that matches up with the programs you're applying to. So I think that strategizing piece was pretty difficult and just having the patience to figure out what program with those qualities. As you're strategizing, trying to choose which residencies match up best with what you're looking for to, receive from a residency. Also, what matches up with the culture you kind of want to enter into. It takes a lot of patience and, kind of focusing on the strengths that you have as a clinician, as a potential applicant and, potential resident. So I think that was probably the hardest part. So just exhibiting that strategy and patience.
Ortho. Got another one. Stay tuned as we talk to a dentist who just matched in ortho in his top program, and he's going to tell you all how he did it. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Dr. Darwin, the new dentist coach, with another episode of Ask Dr. Darwin on the New Dentist Podcast Show, where we talk about getting into dental school, getting into residency, and then life as a new dentist. Guys, be sure that you are continuing to support the channel. Like, share, comment, also subscribe. We've got some great merch. It's that time. It's that holiday time. You can bless someone for graduation early. Go into the merch store down below. Also, this episode of Ask Dr. Darwin is being brought to you by GetIntoDentalResidency.com. GetIntoDentalResidency.com, the ultimate resource to help you get into the residency program of your dreams. All right. For more details, go down to the link right here, down below. All right. Special guest today. We've been collaborating, talking, mentorshiping for about 6 years now, Doc? 7 years?
6? It's been longer than 6. It's been since 2016.
Yeah, well, that's why I got all this gray hair now. So I didn't have this gray.
7. Yeah, no, 7.
I didn't have this gray hair when we first talked. So,
yeah.
Mentorship matters, but you can also see what.
No,
happens.
listen. I see that. Still looking good.
That wasn't you. Well, guys, listen. You guys are in for a special treat today. Make sure you stay all the way through this video and this podcast episode, because this episode is special for many different reasons. But Doc, let's get started. Yeah. Introduce yourself for some of the people who are meeting you for the first time.
Okay. My name is Dr. Kwame Achampong. So as many may already know or may not know, you've been a mentor of mine for about 7 years now. You've helped me to understand what it means to become a dentist beyond the clinical aspect of it. There's a mental positioning you have to take and a mental fortitude you have to build up in order to go through this process. It's not easy. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, but we play on our strengths and build up our weaknesses. It's something that you really helped me to learn and understand. And so as a mentor, a mentee of yours and being on this podcast now, it's giving full circle, man. So I'm from New Jersey. I went to Rutgers in my undergrad. I went to Howard University College of Dentistry, which was an amazing experience as well. I did a GPR residency at Bronx Care, where at some point you were also involved with from the administrative perspective, right? And then, I worked for about 1.5 years, and now I'm entering into orthodontic residency. So it's been a journey, man.
Yes, you have, and yes, it's been. You got that right. It's definitely been a journey, and that's a good point. It's a journey. It's a process, right? not only life, but
That's dope.
our career, our professional development through the profession of dentistry.
Mhm.
So let's
Yeah,
jump in, man, because people got a lot of questions. Like I said, ortho is one of those residencies that everybody is jumping into for various
absolutely.
reasons. So your reason,
Mhm.
why ortho? Why did you
So
decide ortho? Because there was another specialty that's related to it that was also kind of like on your radar. Uh,
yes.
but but yeah, share why ortho for you.
So initially, I had an interest in just children in general, just because of the organization that I created and run with my cousin since back in undergrad. And so, you know, typically when working with kids, many would just shoot for pediatric dentistry, and that's something that I was very interested in. While I was in school, I didn't take advantage of much exposure to orthodontics. I know a lot of dental schools don't. They expose you when you take courses, but the exposure is quite minimal, and so I didn't really understand what all entailed in orthodontics. I understood malocclusion, I understood skeletal deformations and things of that nature, and the needing to correct that, but I didn't really understand the specialty. So going in, I initially, like I said, I did the GPR at the Bronx, and while at the Bronx, what it allowed me to do was have dip my toes into everything, right? So I was doing a little bit of endo, a little bit of perio, some, of course, some restorative dentistry, some removable, some fixed, a little bit of everything. And I had my interest in ortho at that time because there was an ortho program at Bronx Care that I would be able to attend their morning meetings where they would discuss cases and things of that nature. And so my mentality just started gravitating towards the culture of orthodontics. One being that it is a very, it's very puzzle oriented, right? You have to solve something retroactively. So you already know the finish and you have to work backwards from that. And I think that's something that, again, plays on one of my strengths. We talked about, I just mentioned in the beginning, kind of playing on your strengths and building up your weaknesses. As it pertains to a strength of mine, I do believe, puzzle solving and problem solving is, and all dentists need to do that. But orthodontics specifically um, has that about it, that you really have to use a lot of brain power as it pertains to how you're addressing various issues. Um, so, after shadowing for some time, I went beyond an interest and then it turned into a desire. Now, I don't choose any specialty or even dentistry, with like a lackluster ambition associated with it. There was always like a faith-driven perspective that always drove me to one place or the next. And so for this specifically, with the organization that created working with kids, there was no component of ortho, which is very important, equally as important, that was present. And so I knew that was a gap that I needed to fill. And so
Yeah,
yeah, sorry.
no. I was going to say that, and that gap is part of putting those pieces of the puzzle together. Um,
Absolutely.
good colleague of ours who's the actual former ortho residency program director and now is the chair of ortho in Indiana. Dr. Kelton
Hmm.
Stewart calls
Yeah.
ortho, the black box, right? And if you guys have not seen that episode, check it out over there, over up here, right? Where's it at? Right here. Check it out up top there as it comes across, and also check down below. Very, very interesting episode about orthodontics and from a program director's, a board certified orthodontist and program director's viewpoint. So yeah, that puzzle piece is big. So how did you prepare for your application? Because if I recall, this
Hmm.
was a second cycle, either for
No,
pedo ortho or it might have been the first cycle. So tell us, how did
so
you go about preparing your application?
so I actually applied to residency 4 times. My initial application was for pedo, which I didn't match, and then I didn't post match as well. I did a GPR, and then I applied that year of my GPR into a ortho program, and then didn't match. The following year, I applied into a program, but then withdrew from the match. Then this year, I applied and matched. So that was, yeah, I'm a four-timer.
I'm
Right.
not confused, but I'm dizzy. But again, that's part of the process, right? That's what happens. It's a process.
I can break it down a little further. I think, the initial time I applied for orthodontics, I did something that I think many other applicants shouldn't do, which is putting a lot of your eggs in one basket, which is essentially saying, like, this is a place I want to go. This is the residency I feel like I fit in best. And so maybe you may not have the funds or the resources, and so you focus all your attention on maybe one or two programs. And I think that confines you and puts you in a little bit of a box and doesn't allow other programs to see you and for you to see other programs. And I think I would say it was a little bit arrogant of me to even think that it was okay to try to apply to just one program or two programs and think that was going to become fruitful. Even if I ended up in the programs that I really wanted to go to and apply to, it's such a niche specialty and it's very competitive to the degree that I have to give it the respect that it's due. Like, I need to be able to spread, my eggs, right? And so that was the first time trying to get into ortho.
Hey, this is Dr. Darwin, your new dentist coach. Hey, look, it's residency time. It's residency application time. And the biggest question that a lot of people have is, how do I prepare my application? So look, if you're struggling in getting your information together, your CV, your personal statement, or you're ready but not prepared for your interviews, reach out to me ASAP. Right? Through my group, Dental Residency Headquarters, we can help you. We can help you get ready for this residency cycle so that you're able to do this. We want you to match into residency cycle this year. All right. But you got some work to do. If you need some help with that application, shoot me an email at newdentistcoach@gmail.com. newdentistcoach@gmail.com. And through our program called Get Into Dental Residency, we can help you. But you got to hurry up because residency application is right now. So shoot me an email right now. All right, let's get back to this episode.
Second, when I applied and withdrew, I recognized that, yes, you do need to do that, but you don't just go to any place. I think a lot of people do have a mentality that you should go where you're accepted because you're lucky to be accepted by any program. And while I do believe that it is a blessing to be accepted by any program, I don't want to be just anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? You're giving 2-3 years of your life, and chances are you're investing a massive amount of funds into acquiring and learning this specialty and acquiring a certificate and becoming board certified. It's a huge investment. The school you go to, in my opinion, it matters. The people that I think culture is something that a lot of orthodontic residencies are now coming to really pay attention to. Numbers are important to them, but now culture is also something that's taken into account. Like, how do you fit into this culture of individuals that you're going to learn with for the next 2 to 3 years? And also, what is this residency comprised of? And do you think that the way that you are as an individual matches up well with what you can receive from this residency? And so as I was applying, I won't mention the school, but, I had applied to a particular program, and, it seemed pretty clear cut that, they would allow me to matriculate into their program in the following year. But I realized that this situation was not for me. And besides that, I wasn't in the position, whether it be financially or mentally, to jump back into school at the time. And so I think timing and seasons is something that we really need to pay attention to, which is why I talked about patience.
Yeah, patience matters. Definitely matters, and having a plan and having a strategy as you are preparing your application, which includes programs, right? You have to know and do your due diligence with the programs. It's very, very important. So tell us, well, infused in that a little bit more
Mhm.
about the programs in the school and schools, and why you particularly were looking at the, those
Mhm.
number of schools that you applied to.
Mhm. So one thing that I found was a big divider was hospital-based and academic-based programs, programs that were generated from hospitals. So, programs like Bronx Care and so on and so forth. But then you got academic programs coming from schools like Howard University, so on and so forth. And so I realized I did a GPR that was in a hospital-based program, and I think I gained a lot of valuable experience from there. And so that's an experience I'd already acquired. I recognize that when going back, I would prefer not to go back to a hospital-based program. That's just what I desire.
And that was just based on your experience. That was based on
Like
your current or previous experience
yes,
in being
like
in
I've
that
already
environment.
had this experience in a hospital-based program. Had I never had one yet, then maybe that's something that I would consider. But because I've already had that, I recognize how precious and important education is. When you do choose to go somewhere, you're saying no to everything else. So I've already said yes to a hospital-based program. I've already done it. I've gained that experience. So I can say yes to a more academic-based program within a school system.
Right. School or institutional academic
Institution,
setting.
exactly. Correct.
Not to say that hospital programs are not academic, right? But
no,
just that it's a little bit, it's a different
it's
setting
a little different
than a dental school, right?
It's a little different.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people going into even general, right? Some of them do GPRs versus AGDs. So, even that dichotomy, it matters. Like what type of experience do you want? And so you can't go to both. You got to choose one, right? And say no to the other.
So this cycle for applying to residency programs, and then specifically for ortho, how many programs did you apply to, and how did you come to that number of programs or schools?
So I started out with 10 and I trimmed it down to 8. The reason why I chose those schools, I looked for schools that had culture, like the culture of those programs. I think visiting programs is very important, but so that you can understand the culture of those programs. I think it's if you have the ability to travel around and see what programs are about, you should definitely do that. It does 2 things for you. One, it shows you if this is a place that you can be for the next 2 to 3 years. It also shows the program that you have a serious interest within it, because within what we're doing now, even if I'm working 5 days a week, sometimes 6, depending on who you are, you have to take off to make sure you go and visit a program. So programs understand the sacrifice that students and clinicians make to check their program out. So I think that's really important. And so
10 programs, narrowed it down
to 8, and got interviews to 2. So within the programs that I applied to, I got interviews to Case Western University and then Roseman University as well.
All right. So Case Western and Roseman.
Mm-hmm.
So those that are watching and listening, it's going to be one of those 2 programs. So hold on, slow down. Don't go forward. Just slow down. So those 2 programs, let's talk a little bit about those 2 interviews at those 2 programs, because what you're describing is what you just described was the first step.
Yep.
Which is application, apply, get your list of programs together. In your case, it was 8. Got it down. I'm sorry, got it down to 8 from 10, and then from that 8, we were 25% successful in getting 2 interviews. So that's the first step, getting the interview, right?
Yep.
Now you gotta go to the interview and prepare and go to the interview. So let's talk about the interview day, how it was like at those 2 programs, anything that was unusual, and just kind of share with us how that went for you. And if there were any, maybe non-traditional questions that you remember having to provide some answers for, because this interview this is it. This is the last chance for this cycle you know, for you to give them every reason why they must pick you and put you on their rank list as well. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So yeah, I think at the point in which I did a lot of investigation for both programs, granted, you know, I was fortunate enough to know either people who have attended that program or going to that program, or had some form of affiliation with the program, and that gave me more insight. As far as not the interview day, but more so the culture of the program, in which allowed me to even select and have such a large interest in it. And so when attending the interviews, granted, I prepared in the sense of my travel arrangements and all those other things. But I think when it comes to answering questions, I do recognize that we've already been through dental school. We've applied for maybe a few different associations, things of that nature. It's important to know a little bit about the school and about the people who run the program. But other than that, I think there needs to be a little bit of surprise that you allow yourself to intake, because it allows you to be very organic with not just the residents that you're interacting with, but the staff as well. At both residencies, I recognized they were very similar, but they had their differences as well. And so within similarity, I think both residencies had a great culture, very vibrant space. I recognized they were really getting work done, but they enjoyed what they were doing. I could clearly see in the various faculty individuals that I interviewed with that they were very passionate about what they were doing. Those from Case Western I saw had a little bit more of a international mix, a larger international mix from what I recognized, which was really, really cool. I was able to meet with people from all over the place. I met people from Greece, from Egypt, you know, and a lot of different schools as well from across the country, Canada as well, some Canadians as well. So it was a nice mix. I did see more of a domestic pool from Roseman, which I didn't mind either. It was also very different for me. And so it was a really cool experience. I think that, like I said, when it comes for preparation, there shouldn't be too much practice, in my opinion. I know that maybe you go against the grain for what a lot of people look at, but I think you never want to have a script that you're reading from, or something that, like, you know, preparing for every single question that could possibly be asked. I feel like it's antithetical to what an interview is supposed to be about, which is to get to know you and for you to get to know the program, and do that in a genuine way where you come across and give them your full personality and ask thought-provoking questions that allow them to know that you're thinking deeply about where you're going, and also that you have an interest in the program. If I don't have an interest in something, I'm not asking questions. You know what I mean? But if I have an interest and I've done my research, chances are I have some questions for you. So I think questions are super important.
One thing, you gotta ask questions. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
One thing I found unique about my experience, though, is that I asked questions that had to do with what was happening within the interview, right? So they knew that I was listening intently to what they were saying and asking questions based off our conversation. This isn't something I can preform or come up with on. It has to be right then, there, and then, which shows them I have the ability to converse, think critically, and ask thought-provoking questions. So I think that was a big up for me going into the interview space.
Yeah, and let's be clear, you know, everyone's going to prepare for the interview day or the conversation, in-person conversation day differently, depending on your level of comfort.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Depending on your level of comfort of being able to hold a conversation.
Absolutely.
And to conduct yourself accordingly within that conversation. So everyone's going to be different. Some people have it naturally. Some people have practiced it over the years and they're comfortable, but there are some people that have not.
Yeah, I would agree.
And they do need to practice at least their talking points about themselves, the reasons why, and being able to hold a conversation with the other group of individuals. If you're not comfortable doing that, then you've got to practice that
for sure
aspect.
For sure.
All right. But again, it's different for different people.
I can agree with that.
So I don't want y'all to say, oh, well, Dr. Kwame, he said you ain't got to practice. And he got into ortho and match. I don't have to practice. I'm just going to go to the interview and just be organic. Okay. No, that's not what we say. That's not what he's saying.
And get the knowledge and the information. I'm just saying, don't bring a script with you. You know what I mean? Like, don't
Now you have to be natural. You have to be talking from the heart, and organic with intention. You can speak organically, but you also need to talk with intention. Any specific questions that were maybe kind of took you aback and said, stunned you a little bit?
I think the only question that I received from one of the residencies that kind of took me a little bit back was when they provided me with an apparatus from ortho and said, "What is this?" They said, "What is this?"
Here we go.
And to be honest, I looked at it and I was like, okay, I can tell what the function is, but I don't know exactly what this apparatus is. And so, I candidly was like, I don't know what it is. I can assume what it does. And that ended up being a conversation within itself. Now, the reason for the question wasn't necessarily to know whether I know what the apparatus is or not. It's to gauge a level of level of communication, right? Can I communicate that I don't know something and be able to communicate that well while not also just giving up, but saying, hey, I don't know what it is, but I might know what it does. You know what I mean? So that I think was the purpose of that question. It wasn't to gauge whether I knew or not, but how do I handle things when I probably don't know? And because why am I applying to ortho if I know everything?
Well, that's right. How professional are you and comfortable in saying, I don't know what that is. It looks like this. Maybe it's this. You know what? I don't know. And you ask a question, right? The smartest, the smartest candidate in the room, the smartest dentist, the smartest orthodontist, the smartest person in the room is always going to be the one that asks the question. Ask the question and says, I don't know what this is. What is this? It's okay. It's okay. So I'm glad you shared that kind of a strange situation that happened where they gave you a model or something like that and said, hey, what is this?
Straight up. I was like, woo!
Right.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And for those of you that are preparing next cycle for situations or questions like this is so important. Why you must, if you're applying to ortho, you must dive deep into knowing orthonese. Yep, I just made that up. Yeah, orthonese. I made it up. It's the language of ortho, right?
The language.
And you learn orthonese by doing things like talking to residents, current ortho residents, diving deeper into that prophet book, the Bible of orthodontics. I don't even know if people have books anymore. Everything's probably digital, but I still got my book in the garage over here. Red book, about 300 pages. And to your point, I never even opened up that book very much because not too much ortho was taught.
Listen,
hello. That's a whole nother conversation. But that's also how you speak orthonese, and you got to go to the AAO. And if you don't know where AAO is, then we got to really go back to basics with your thought process and your preparation and being intentional about becoming a board certified orthodontist. You got to go to the ortho meeting because they're going to have hot topics, new issues, new apparatus that are going to be shared at that meeting, all of which is great content and things that are going to help you get prepared for your application, but also for the interview day. Hello. So very important to be able to answer those questions. And like you said, ask questions. So now we're going to ask you to this question. And this is, we're going to do the program reveal here. We know it's either case or Rosemont. Now, Case is in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, right?
Yep.
Rosemont is in Vegas. So drum roll. Where's my crew at today? And I don't have the drum roll crew. So where will you be taking your talents to become
in July of 2024, I'll be entering into Roseman University in Las Vegas. Yeah.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Vegas,
very
baby.
Excited.
Vegas.
Very excited, man.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do ortho in Vegas, everyone. Yes, they do.
Right. Do everything in Vegas.
So what made you put, well, I don't know if this is the case, but I'll phrase it this way.
Yeah. Phrase it in a way I can answer. There might be a way I can't answer.
Yeah. Well, that already tells me something. But what I want you to share with everyone is, what did you like most about Roseman? Because there was a reason why you applied to that program, and there was definitely a reason why they selected you, not only for the interview, but that you also matched there as well. All right.
Right.
What about Roseman? Tell us a little bit about Roseman that you liked, as it relates to your future training.
I think they're very progressive as a clinic. I've seen a lot of use of various techniques and technology that I thought was super interesting. Just looking at the faculty that's there full-time and part-time and the various things that they have done and what they have dedicated the field, or what they've dedicated to the field of orthodontics, the different types of research they're involved in and invested in, were things that interest me. Orthodontics, I believe, can be practiced in a lot of different high income areas, but I think it becomes a little bit of a larger challenge in low income areas and areas that are experiencing health disparities. And so I believe that the resources at Roseman could provide me with the ability to understand what type of process needs to take place in order to deliver that. And so being at Roseman, I think articulating that and letting them know the reasons as to why I'm pursuing orthodontics in the first place was very intriguing to them. And ultimately, of course, if we're coming to the interview, everybody that is at the interview, they've seen, they've liked, and they've enjoyed their application. But now it's about meeting that individual in person and understanding who they are. And I think what they understood from me is that I go into this from a passion perspective, which is going to be able to feed it was going to be able to feed the institution, and the institution is going to be able to feed me. It's very mutually beneficial. And I think beyond it being mutually beneficial, we realized, at least I did, and I felt that they did, that this wasn't a transactional situation. It was very relational. I think they realized we could have a very like a reciprocating relationship where I want to be a part of something bigger than myself and always looking to do so. Coming from, my experiences as a first generation Ghanaian American, coming into this space and giving into it, one, and then two, being able to soak in everything that the university has to offer, which to my knowledge and to my experience is a lot. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That's great, man. Tell us a little bit about the program as it relates to costs. Is it tuition based? How many residents, stipend, all of that good stuff?
So it's about 10 residents. The tuition I believe has been raising. It's a little over 100 every year. And so I think that's I don't know what that is in comparison to
100 every year or total?
Yeah, every year. Every year.
Okay. So each year, and it's a 2-year program or 3-year program?
It's a 3-year program.
Okay.
the cough. Yeah.
No, it's just,
Yeah, no.
The cough was timely, but it was untimely. It just happened to be.
I think depending on like for me being a first generation Ghanaian American, born with parents who my dad came up as a butler at a at a Manhattan hotel, and my mom working in the hospital, for the majority of her life. I don't have the means to tackle something like this head on that maybe some of my other colleagues have in the past who may be generational dentists or otherwise. But I understand that it's a barrier breakthrough opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's a
Absolutely.
barrier breakthrough opportunity. And so when I thought about the cost in total, like it was scary for me because I've never spent that kind of money. Like if I'm being completely honest. So I've never spent that kind of money. So I have to look at it. I think short of like maybe like trying to buy a house, like I couldn't really, or maybe investing in a practice, I couldn't really see many scenarios that would require me to spend this type of money.
It's an
And so
investment. It's an
yeah,
investment.
exactly. I think this whole thing has been an investment from undergrad to graduate school to dental school to
Yeah.
GPR to
Yeah.
working for a year to residency. So I do look at this as an investment. And I think that it's going to pay itself off multiple folds. So I'm
Life
looking forward to that.
life in itself is an investment. It's an investment in yourself, but it's an investment in the others due to what you are going to be able to do in helping others,
Yeah.
being transformative in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
You may come across 100 people and you do something for them that has a value of 30,000, 40, 50, even 100,000, because you may change someone's smile and their whole viewpoint, emotional viewpoint, through orthodontics or through dentistry, through cosmetic dentistry, to the point where they are so much more invigorated, motivated, that they now are able to go and achieve above and
something
beyond.
Different.
Right?
Absolutely.
All because of your contribution. And that contribution based on your investment in yourself, and that you also played it forward and being able to provide them high quality oral health care that improve their outcomes, but also it maybe improve their employment status, or improve their behavioral status, their mental status, just from fixing their smile or fixing their appearance. So, that investment is just that $300,000 and all the other monies that you and your family have invested in your education is a deposit into the lives of other people.
Nobody told me when I was getting into this what I was gonna have to pay. It's real. Like, I think people think like the financial part is probably given that, obviously we go through graduate programs and are able to take out loans and things like that. It ends up kind of becoming the easiest part. The mental investment is the part that people really need to focus in on. Piece. It's a true mental investment. You got to be committed.
You have to be committed, but you also have to understand that you're going to pay somehow, some way anyway.
Yeah, no, facts. Yeah.
So if it's not paying for your education, you're gonna pay for not having your education.
No, seriously.
And life don't care. Life does not
never
care.
Cares.
Don't care if you got education or if you do have it. It's coming at you. So
life will always life.
Yeah, that's right. Life be lifing. You know what I'm saying? It be lifing. So it don't make a difference. It's coming. It's coming, and you will have to pay somewhere. So you might as well get your mind right and pay for things that are going to allow you to, and now we preach. Now we're not preaching. We mentoring now.
Yeah.
To allow you to be in a position so that you can do the things, help the people that you want to help. Right. Put yourself in that position so you have that capacity and that expertise, whatever that is, because you're gonna have to pay anyway. You will pay.
One way or another.
Right.
I have to pay now. I want to pay now. So
yeah.
Later.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So 3 years, 10 slots, and sounds like a great mix of a little bit of international, but also some domestic dentists that are coming into the program, and a good fit culture wise for you as well. That's awesome. Absolutely. Man. That's awesome. So for you that have been listening and watching, congratulations. You made it just about all the way through for probably the most popular part of these episodes, which is advice. So, Dr. Kwame, knowing what you know now and the journey that you have been on for these multiple cycles, for multiple reasons, doing this process, knowing what you know now, give us three pieces of advice for those that are listening and watching that have a dream and an aspiration to become a board certified orthodontist.
So, I mean, for me, I think I can never talk about, I think I said it in the beginning, I can never talk about my desires or purpose or how I go about doing things without mentioning my own faith. And so this might not be everybody's experience. It might not be most people's experiences. But for me as a Christian, grounding myself in my faith is what allows me to persevere through times that are difficult. That's first and foremost. And then secondly, and tertiary, there has to be, you need a community. I think community is very important. If you show me your community, I can show you the likelihood of your success. And I don't mean just those who are in proximity with you. I mean those that you spend your time with, whether on the phone, whether it be your colleagues, so on and so forth. Who do you spend your time talking to? Because I spend my time talking to people who like to win. You know what I mean? I talk to people who like to win, and beyond liking to win, they know what it means to lose and to learn from it. And I think that's the last part, right? Perseverance. You need to persevere. So I've found a lot of people who have made maybe better decisions than I have, or maybe had stronger, from a paper perspective, or however you'd like to look at it, maybe a stronger application coming from undergrad to dental school or so on and so forth, but they didn't end up getting the opportunities that I received. And I think all the three of the things that I mentioned were the deciding factors that decided whether I was going to be here rather than this other person. So my faith, my community, and my perseverance. And so those are the three things that I can advise anyone who's going into or seeking entrance into residency, seeking entrance into anything purposeful that they're trying to achieve in their life, is to ground themselves in those things.
That's phenomenal, man. Especially that perseverance piece. Because like we said, life be lifing, and it does not care whether you're prepared, not prepared, whether you're number one in your class or number 21 in the class. If you got a GPA, if you got ortho experience, if you don't, does not care. So you always have to stay grounded, like in those three things that you mentioned, and surround yourself in that community, and also know that, you know, no just means no right now. It don't mean no forever.
That's literally what you always used to say. No means no right now.
Right.
No, talk about it, bro. Get you a Dr. Hayes. That's what you need. That's what you need. That's one of the main components. If you don't have that, just call it quits.
Yep. We've been saying that for 7-8 years now, right?
Yeah.
No just means no right now.
You remember Howard told me no, and then I was like, wait, why? And they're like, all right, fine.
Right. No just means no right now. Doesn't mean no forever. And that means that those that are listening and watching and want to become a board certified orthodontist, it's going to be a process. You're going to have to persevere. You're going to have to be in a community where you're surrounding yourself with individuals that are doing the things that you want to do, but also that can help you, right? And then also be grounded in something, faith, or something similar that allows you to understand the importance that, you know, there's situations and things bigger and more powerful than just you, right? And what's for you will be for you, and you'll get it when it's supposed to happen. But you still got to persevere, right? You still got to persevere. And for those of you that have been listening and watching, thank you for persevering with us through this very, very important journey shared by Dr. Kwame. Doc, what's the best way for people to get in contact with you if they have any other questions or just want to connect with you?
Yeah, they could just shoot over to my Instagram at Dr.Achampong Strong. That's my Instagram handle. They could also just shoot me an email at kwameotioachampong@gmail.com. That's also a great way to reach me. So if anybody has any questions or wants to get like a one-on-one combo with me, I'm always open. So that'll be a great way to do it.
Well, you've done it, man. It's been 8 years
you.
in the making, brother. We're so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I will be coming. Your mentor will be coming to Vegas to visit you. So be ready.
We're lit. We're lit, bro.
We're coming. Vegas is my third home. I've lived there a couple of times. Part of my dental career as well. So, hey, man, congratulations to you, and congratulations to you all that have been watching and listening. Now, your next assignment is go to the next video. Go to the next video right now. Go, go, go. Love, peace, and smiles. Go to the next video. Go to the next video.